Some of you can't get it up, so then you got a problem, you know? And if she's any good worth of shit, she can help you get it up. But once she says, your place or mine, doc, that's it. All the rest is bullshit. Don't worry about all that shit. If 17, 18, if 13, 14, 15-year-old kids can do this, why the fuck are you asking these questions? Why? Because you got no huevos. That's why. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Jesus Christ. What the fuck do I have to show? The 13-year-old assets, we'll just buy the fucker. What does it matter? I mean, again, I had no idea that nobody had any self-esteem. I didn't realize it was such a rare motherfucking commodity. Whether you went to medical school or not. At least you found out after 20 grand, it ain't for me. Fine. Do us both a fucking favor. Leave now. But don't keep asking stupid fucking questions. I'm not going to tolerate it. Especially when I know it adds no value. All it does is reinforce the insecurities in the rest of you weak cunts. That's all it does. Because some of you are held in higher regard than others. Wrongfully. But some of you are held in higher regard than others. Because you have a bullshit about this or this, and you made a few bucks, or you have some employees. They hold you in high regard for the wrong reasons. And then when he says it, or she says it, and then you hear him, fuck, that's why I step up and say, fuck, that's bullshit. Tacit approval is why you're poor. Does everybody understand what tacit approval is? Well, why have you lived your life under tacit approval? Tacit approval is, okay, we're in a meeting. This guy's talking shit. No, I'm not in the meeting. You're in the meeting. This guy's talking shit. You know he's talking shit. You know he's talking shit, but you don't say anything. And the worst case is, and you nod your head as if to agree. Now he goes off to tell, Doofus and Rufus agreed with me. And Doofus and Rufus say, well, fuck. Rufus didn't say anything. And then you go off to your different meetings and say, well, fuck, it must be okay. It's even worse when you have somebody of high authority like myself. That's why I step into the breach. Because I don't want to be, you've lived your life with tacit approval. You haven't had the balls to open your mouth when somebody's talking to you. And your excuse will be, I'm going to get fired. Well, you can't get fired now unless you get caught fucking a donkey in the lobby. You cannot get fired in corporate world anymore. It's almost impossible. So don't use that as a fucking excuse why you agree or let the boss talk shit or let the boss bully you. You have no balls. That thing about we fucked it up and he walked, remember, we fucked it up. We have nobody that steps into the breach anymore. 90% of what you hear from your family, from your friends, is horse shit. You got sales managers that never sold anything. You got CEOs that got there by fucking their way up the ladder. But you don't say anything. And why don't you say anything? Because you got a mortgage. You want to get your fucking second map. You always got a reason why you show no self-assertiveness. We've got entire cultures that have grown up that way. Not in Russia. Not in Ukraine. Less in Hungary, less in the communistic countries. They're still hard asses. They're still hard asses. If you're going to continue to allow tacit approval to rule your life, you're going to fail at this. And then you're going to go on Reddit and you're going to say, this fucking thing doesn't work. It didn't work for you because you're a cunt. The only way the QLA doesn't work is if your whole body looks like a vagina. That's it. Now you heard this fat bitch, this fucking tub of shit, in her, past her prime, arguably. But you've already manufactured why she can do it and you can't, at a subconscious level, or sub-rosa level, as the psychiatrists say. You've already come up with a reason. Just as you've come up with a reason why Josh can do it and you can't. I don't know how you can come up with a reason why. I mean, it's beyond. If I thought a million years why you could come up with a reason that Josh, a 17, 18-year-old fucking kid, albino fucking Korean gook, can, I don't know I don't know what reason, possibly, but we have. We get emails all the time. Well, I'm not even going to ask, because some moron's going to raise their hand and say, oh yeah, I can think of a reason why Josh can do it and I can't. If you're going to if you can't get rid of tacit approval in your life, you're going to fucking fail at this. Our wives and our husbands, our significant others, talk shit, right? Nobody can be meaner to a husband than a wife. Nobody can be meaner to a wife than a husband, a significant other. No, because you're not afraid. Well, he's not going to dump me. We got 4 kids, or she's not going to dump. So I don't want to say the honest isn't the right word, but you're more candid. Now, sometimes your candor gets you in trouble with your old lady. Oh, don't touch me. So then the guys don't want to do that because they don't want it, then they won't get their willy wet. Is that a miserable way to live your fucking life? Yes. So you stay with your old fucking hag year after year after year. Then empty nest syndrome hits. The kids leave, and then you see the separations. And sometimes they don't. And the guys get caught cheating. They should have left the old hag 20 years ago, or she should have left him 20 years. But you continue staying with the old hag, don't you? The old lady. The same old fucking bitch. The same old crack. And that's why we're fucked. Caveman, you kill the old bitch, and you go and find a new younger one. I was born 40,000 years too late. Since I don't mind killing people anyway. Cut her, I do snuff sex. While I'm fucking her and I cut her throat. Guys, I'm telling all of you. Guys, I'm telling you. Don't be right. Just do me the favor. Don't go to fucking Reddit and say it doesn't work just because you're a fucking weenie. They can't get it in a hole. Be a man for the first time in your life. Belly up to the bars. I fucked up because I'm a cunt. I didn't want it bad enough. Did you hear her talk about sacrifices? Yo, Skip, you didn't ask one question about that. What, you fucking moron? Asses. Who gives a shit? And when I put on your report, asked and answered. I used to put asked and answered asshole, but I stopped doing that. My lawyer suggested to me, Dan, when you go to court, and the judge is not going to understand when you say asked and answered asshole. They'll understand asshole. So I dropped, even I do. I dropped the asshole part off. But implicit when I say asked and answered, it means asshole. Guys, why do you watch Jacko? Because you got no balls. Jacko, by the way, I love you, Jacko. He's got a new thing now for Monday mornings where he's got a brick wall that he runs into and charges into and breaks it down. Have you seen that? I'm going to do one, Jocko. Just like you. 74, I'm going to break a bigger fucking wall down than you broke down. It's like when you get these little they break these boards. I could break the board with my dick in the morning. That's the fucking truth. I still pole vault out of bed at 74. I don't have to take steps to take a pee. I just have a couple of pole vaults. And And I'm there. And you can't even get it up. 74 years old. We ought to put that on. I bet you that'd be viral for sure, wouldn't it? It'd go fucking viral, right? The only thing is Sally wouldn't have nothing to do with it. Sally, no. I'm not going to have anything to do with that. Guys, goddamn. Fuck. Now, I'm afraid when you listen to the little black Hitler, what you're going to ask. Fortunately, it's a film, so you can't ask him any questions. The bad part about the live is you ask stupid questions. The other ones, we can edit out the stupid questions because it's on film. But, I mean, Black Hitler, I mean, they fucking, God almighty, the questions they asked him was unbelievable. You're not going to see him because okay. Comments about the girl is a star in the making. There's no question. Does anybody not understand she's a star in the making?
She is.
Yeah. I mean, tub of shit that she is, but I mean, and she's moving to Houston.
I had not spoken to her.
By the way, for YouTube, one of her best buddies is here. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm not talking to her in about 3 weeks or so. We're both busy, blah, blah, blah. Called up and she said, oh, this is 2 or 3 days before I left. And she said, oh, by the way, we're moving to Houston and we'll be gone before you get back. Actually, back in our day. But she's like, when can you come over and help us move? And before I left, and we went over and packed up a bunch of crap and she had everybody mobilized and we had a pilot working machine. And
now the guys, most of you guys wouldn't be moving to Houston.
She's fully committed. Yeah.
Thank you.
And her husband is supporting her.
Correct.
No hesitation. So.
Yeah, you know.
Warman was on movie.
Yes!
Yeah.
She's got the hook in those assholes.
She knows how to sell it.
That's right. The bitch can sell.
Amen.
Amen, I mean.
Her CFO right away was the plan with, hey, he's moving.
Correct. I mean, that's commitment, guys. Now, most of you wouldn't even move across the street. So who's committed more? When I left the U.S. to come to the UK, I was on board 300%. I burned the ships. That was it. That was it. And I had, you know, either I succeeded or I fucking died here bankrupt. That was it. And guess what? When you make that commitment, even if you've got a modicum of ability, not even a lot of ability, a modicum of ability, and I used to say I make it up in time. I didn't know a lot of shit, and again, I didn't know anything about the oil and gas business. Nothing. And I'd make it up in time. I mean, I just sell more. I mean, make it up in volume, as they used to say. Sell harder, Peña. Well, I knew how to sell, though. Sell harder, Peña, you know. How did I sell the Kuwaiti government the 4th largest oil reserves on the planet to start an oil company in the U.S.? They needed an oil company in the U.S. like they needed AIDS. And this is pre-AIDS, so they didn't know about AIDS. I was a selling motherfucker. I didn't give presentations until I made a sale. I gave presentations until I was oversold, oversubscribed. Because sales drop out. And if you've been in any kind of sale, you understand sales back out. So I wanted to sell 200% more. And so then, if they didn't drop out and I had extra, then I could sell them the next load of shit. I don't mean shit for any of my shareholders that are watching. Next quality product. The next quality product. But she's a great gal. But I could tell from here. I mean, she's full of piss and vinegar. She just is, and it comes across. And she was low key on this one. Her first one, she was charging, you know. And I said, "Don't scare. I mean, back up a little, you know." You know, it's not bad enough, but it's different enough to have a woman that sounds like an alpha male, that is positive, etc. And her 2 or 3 fuck ups that she made, 2 or 3, but she just retrenched and went forward. And she's done a terrific job. And I fully suspect a year from now, she's coming to the hardcore, and I fully suspect that she was going to do a shit ton of deals, and she'll be a woman up on the Hall of Fame sooner than later. Any questions about her? Yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, I want to point out one thing about her, that she has redundancies for her board members. And I don't know whether that's a...
In other words, backups.
Yeah,
Correct.
So I don't know whether it's a female thing, or maybe not, but we, as women, especially if you're divorced, you tend to think that you need to have redundancies for things, backup plans, meaning as far as board members, things like that, just always have a plan.
No, some of the guys have backups.
Yeah.
I never had any backups, but I never had any board members leave. I mean, now a board member that had 2% of my deal back in the day, if they kept it, it was at exit, it was $9 million, 2%. Only one effectively had it, and that's the widow Soliday, and because her husband had died, and he left her without a will, so he left her intestate. So we had to go through the bullshit, but it was $9 million. The guys that had 5%, $45 million, or 20-something million bucks, because it was. So it can, and the reason that these guys, especially the general, who's broke, nice guy, I'm sure, but I mean, you don't retire as a big general with a big income. So he's getting income from the boards he's on, but most of these guys don't have any fucking money. I mean, money that you don't run out of before, you want the money to run out after you're dead, not before you're dead. Now, some of you want to leave money to your kid, and that's all great, okay? But at least the money should last while you're alive, And the generational wealth, I mean, even if you do it half-assed, you're going to create 40, 50 million bucks. The one guy made 40 million bucks in 7 months. Fuck, I didn't know it was this easy. Now that's a downside. When you find out how fucking easy it is, you go to sleep. And that's I should have 500 on the Hall of Fame. But I've heard more guys say, 100 million, I want 100 million. They make 40 million, I never heard from them again. I got guys, I'm billion, I want billion, now I'm a billion. Now they make a couple hundred million, I never hear from them. Now I'm not saying a couple hundred million is not any money. 250 million in the bank changes your life. The banks look at you different. I mean, all kind of shit opens up. Okay, I know what that feels like. I've been a long time. I know what that feels like. But I want to make 100 million, you get 40 million, I never hear from you. I mean, literally. Never hear. No postcards, Christmas card, but nothing. Fuck all nothing. They're just gone. Because they're afraid that I'm going to suck them back into the vortex. I said, you weasel fucker. I mean, I'm bragging about you. Now you're gone. No, you come back here, But guys like Dan Locke are unusual, where they keep hitting the line. You just keep hitting the line, wanting to make more money, more money, more money. And that appeals to his Asian following, especially to the Chinese guys. Why it doesn't appeal to everybody, I don't know, but especially because they see a poor Chinese guy made a lot of money and living in the creme de la creme of a white community, Canadian. I mean, it resonates. I mean, you should have seen the eyes and the looks on those fuckers' faces at the big fucking ticket, big hitter, high ticket clothes, whatever the fuck that thing was called I went to. I mean, they were fucking crazy. And I told you, they stalked Sally and I, would chase us down the fucking streets. They were enthused. Okay, comments about her, that she's going to be a star, unless something happens. Normally, the only thing, women sometimes fall in love, or again, fall in love, and, okay, but that's behind her, I think. That part of her life, thank God, is behind her. Pardon?
She's in love, she's good.
Yeah, she's good. But, okay, comments about the young lady that you just saw. And to me, she's young. I call her old hag, but she's young. Yeah.
As far as I understood, she gave her board members a little bit more equity than...
Yeah, she gave them 6, and she split the 6 between the chairman and vice chairman, 3 each. Okay, but I mean everybody else. She's only got something over 50% now because she gave a lot of sixes away. But that's okay, as long as you got control. And she's got control even if she didn't. I'd say this: she'd have control even if she didn't have 50%. And now some of you are going to say, "Well, these two guys have said that they're going to vote with me," and unless you have it in a trust that you vote their shares. Doesn't mean shit just because they say they're going to vote for you or with you. And your lawyers will know how to lock up the shares. So even when you fall below 50, if you've got 30% from your board that's in an irrevocable voting trust that you vote their shares, then you still got control. But when you have less than 50 without that, I mean, you're playing with fire. And you're going to be the only one that gets burned. You're going to be the only one that gets burned. But she's doing a terrific fucking job. I'm proud as hell of her. Questions about, there was another hand up about.
No, that's
okay. Anything else about Jessica? Jessica, if you watch this, keep pushing, sweetheart, and you're doing fine. You're doing more than fine. You're doing terrific. Super. You're doing super. But she's motivated. It's clear to see she's motivated, isn't it? There's no question in anybody's mind, is it?
She's driven. She knows where
she's driven. That's exactly right.
Did she get different banks, or she was all, I assume, different banks?
Well, she has different banks, but it doesn't make. The devil's, all that detail doesn't mean a shit. It doesn't mean a shit. None of that is important. The most important, and she said it 3 or 4 times, not just because she's saying what I wanted to say. Do what Dan tells you, okay? Because the 2 or 3 times that she had a speed bump, she didn't do exactly what the script says, and she fucked up a little. So she learned. It's like when my dad hit me with a car, I never walked in the fucking street again, to this day. I can look down at my knee and still see that piece of chrome sticking out my goddamn knee. I mean, unfortunately, Pavlov was right. Shock therapy works. She's got her board well placed, and she has backups, and she has a number, and she wasn't afraid to have more board members, even though she was giving them 6%. And because the deals are less than $2 million, the first few deals, she's doing her CFO, and a couple other people on the board are doing the due diligence. And by the way, due diligence is a metaphor for knocking the price down. Only one time in 50 years have I ever seen the price go up after doing due diligence. Because there's stuff that they'll say, I didn't think that was important, that's why we didn't disclose it. Well, shit, that reduces the purchase price $300,000. What do you mean you didn't think it was important? And she's buying assets. She's not always going to be able to buy assets, but she's buying assets right now, which is terrific. But in the beginning, the banks, she just glossed over it. She didn't tell the banks that she was cash flow. And then when they got there, and by the way, just because the banks tell you, they all lie. And the lawyers, and she didn't make the point, but the lawyers will say yes on deferred fees. Then you're going to get the engagement letter that says they want a $25,000 retainer and no deferred fees. Because sometimes it is a mistake because they just send out a boilerplate. But they always say it's a mistake. And when you bring it to their attention, well, what is this shit? And when the accountants say, when she pointed out very vividly, when the accountants say it's, we can't do it because of independence, what they're talking about is GAAP, General Accepted Accounting Principles, which they have all over the planet for accountants, say you cannot have an audit contingent on money to be paid. Well, she's not asking for a goddamn audit. And what she's asking for is, which I'm going to send you, and which the YouTubers are going to go nuts because they don't have. This is a quality of earnings report. Very secret. Don't blow this up on camera. Quality of earnings from a Big Four accountant, from one of my guys' deals right now in the last few weeks, and it says when you have them do the audit, they do a quality of earnings report. It's not when they do the due diligence on an acquisition, they're doing a quality of earnings. They don't call it quality of earnings, but it's called a QOE. And they fill out this kind of thing. Now, in your gigs, you have 3 different sets of due diligence questions. 3 different sets. So you can do the due diligence on the smaller deals. Take one and pass it around, please. Don't get too close to the camera. We don't want the YouTubers to see it. But that's what they're talking about. And then when on her report, when she told me this, I said, no, they're talking about you're not doing an audit. But it's true, they cannot do an audit that's subject to any money being paid, because then they think that they'll be swayed. They'll be swayed. Now, I don't know anybody out there that's given sample quality of earnings reports. I don't know any of the boys. I'm being sarcastic now. I know for a fact they're not. Most of the guys wouldn't know a quality of earnings report if it bit them in the dick. Okay? But she's done terrific. Anything else about the girl? I forgot to ask her. I said, you didn't tell me your friend was on Amazon. You know. I know. I said, I guess, I told somebody last night at dinner, was it you? I had a girl that I knew in grammar school, Gabrielle DeGange. Gab, if you're watching, I haven't seen her in years, but she was like 5'10" in grammar school. And I mean, to say that she scared off the guys, we were the 2 biggest kids in grammar school. I was a guy, but she was taller than I was a gal. And, and she had trouble making friends. Unless they were giants, and I was the second closest to her. Yeah. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. Give one to Kat, and Kat will get somebody. Will get. Anybody else not have one? Okay. Who's my 5:30? Okay. You give it to him, and then I'll give you one at 5:30. Okay. Everybody got one now? Okay. There's a secret shit, YouTube. There's this highly sensitive shit that you don't have. Anything else about the gal? Okay, YouTube, thank you.